Man, I just love that carbon fiber hood wrap. I just can't get over it. It looks so cool. Today, I'm going to be finding out why my 4L60 doesn't like to go into second or out of second gear. Originally, when I was driving my pre-runner back and forth to work every day, had 410 gears, 35-inch tires, and I blew up the stock 10 bolt on 35s, go figure. That being said, didn't have the money to fix the 10 bolt or throw 12 bolt or 14 bolt axle in it at the time. I have a 14 bolt axle to go back in it. So I just went and got a $100 stock 323, 342, whatever it was. It didn't matter because I needed to go to work. Put that in it with the 35s. I had that awesome, true, dual equal length, no muffler exhaust system on it. The guy in the yellow Mustang wanted some. So with the gear ratio I had with the taller tires, the thing would hold first gear to like 70 miles an hour. When it shifted into second, it did not like it. And I think I fried my front planetary. I have a Sonax 6-pinion close ratio planetary to go back in it. I'm not sure if that's the problem, so let's take it apart and see what I cooked in this transmission. I could jack the truck up and put it on jack stands, and it would go through first, and it hit second, and it would lock up the whole drive line. But on the ground with the momentum behind the truck, I was able to limp it through second and head third in overdrive. I drove the truck home. It has reverse, it has every option available, just the hard part, the gearing doesn't mesh well. So I believe it's a planetary, but let's take it apart and see if I'm right or not. All right, so I don't have a transmission table. I have this engine stand bracket that I can use, and I don't want to go flipping this thing upside down because I'm not sure what's going to come out of it. I don't want to get it all caught up in the valve body and stuff, and it's only been in its correct position since I pulled it out of the truck. I don't know if it's good or bad. The fluid is it's dark, but it's red. So I just did it. So let's dump this out in a bucket and see what kind of nasty shavings are underneath it. Then I'll go ahead and put it up on the table, take it apart, and see what I broke. Let's see what is in the pan. That's no good. Some larger metal chunks. That magnet is it's got some big pieces in it. Yeah. Let's dig farther. I'm guessing it's the first planetary you get to after the forward pack. Yeah, it's got some large pieces of metal in it. Huh? Flip it and find out, right? And hopefully, I got my bucket in the right orientation that it catches all the fluid that comes out the backside. Yeah, I got some fine metal on the side of the filter here. The filter caught a bunch. This job, I stuck a magnet in the torque converter. I did not see anything come off on the magnet. I'm going to attempt to reuse that. It's probably stupid, but we'll see. Because I'm broke at the moment. I ain't got no money to go buying all this other new stuff. Got some 8s, some 10s. And once I pull this lockup valve here, I can get the pump out. If there's no metal in my pump and the pump ain't scored, I'm just going to clean and put it back together with the new part and send it. To get the pump out, I got to go ahead and unclip the solenoid. Try not to break anything. It's a brand new harness. There's a fresh rebuild, brand new harness on these solenoids. And then you got to pull the clip from in there. My Freight Harbor kick set. I'm not one of these dudes who just go blow it all apart, throw it all back together, because I don't know what I'm doing yet. Eventually, one day, I'm going to be that good, and then they won't make parts for them anymore. Come on, get out, do it, get out. And you pull and it goes flying across the shop. They went over there. They got nothing in it, no shavings and nothing. I think I'll be able to take it apart, clean it, and put it back together, and it'll be fine. I'll see what the clutches and all look like. On the way home from acting like an idiot after I got it through second gear, it did go into third overdrive and lockup. I drove it about 5 miles home. And everything worked till I pulled in the driveway. There's a little screen in there. I can check that for shavings too. But that will stop the pump from coming out. I don't see any shavings in the lockup valve. Dude, I think I'm gonna be good. I really do. Much y'all real transmission people are like, no, you ain't. But I'm gonna try it out. Worst case scenario, I got a built one right there I can put in it. But we're gonna try to go with this one because I know it's got really good bones on the inside to go with. So I'm just gonna leave that sit there. I'm gonna pull off the valve body, but not just yet. I need to get the bell off and get the pump out. I always forget to do this. That's why I did it first. So this is the part I hate the most. It's trying not to strip out these bolts. This is from Sonax. It's a T50P or plus. It's a plus size Torx T50. And man, they say don't put an impact on it. Just line it up. And I don't even use a ratchet. I use a breaker bar. And they're not torqued all that tight, but man, did they lock in. So the best thing I do is just get a 12-inch half drive and man, just ease into it. Make sure it's not pulling out. Just press down with as much pressure as you can. I've tried the impact screwdriver. It's worked. A regular impact usually just strips them off. This is the best way I've found, is with the correct tool and just straight, even pressure until it comes. And work your way around. Just press down one hand and pull nice and even with the other one. And they're all loose. So I know I made it look easy, but it wasn't me. It was this right here. And that's separate. This is something else I bought to stick this in. It's like $20 on eBay. T50P Sonax torque socket for getting these bolts out. I like my little 3/8 impact. I probably shouldn't be impacting these off, but I really blame it on the tune. It was a Can Diablo Sport tune. And I think I adjusted the shift point 100 RPMs higher than the red line of the engine. It paused for a second, and man, when it hit second, it hit second. All right, so yeah, I got no metal around all in this. Man, I hope the inside of this pump didn't pick up any trash. I don't feel like buying another pump. I'm kind of broke at the moment. So I got a little tool, clamps around here, pulls the pump out. I could horse it, but I don't know what I'm horsing, and I don't want to break anything. So here's my pump puller. It's just kind of a slide over deal. Center this up. And then tighten those 2 bolts. Mine are 10 millimeter. That little O-ring, dude, that little O-ring right there will completely stop the whole pump from coming off. I keep forgetting about this little thing. It's a good thing I was red. Try not to drop my O-ring here. Alright, that. The gasket didn't even tear. Alright, so looking in here, got my band and my drum. This is where you get to the planet. This is what I think where I screwed up at. So, see if I can get this out without taking the servo out. Last battery crapped out on me, so I'm taking off the pressure switch. These are the longer ones, you don't want to get mixed up in the center. Without losing any of them. No, perfectly clean, no metal, no gook, no schmutz, no nothing. So I'm liking that. This over here, table the right way. And all of my valve body bolts are loose. And it's linkage. Man, they could have come up with a better design than that. I fought that linkage trying to go back on for a while in one of my videos. It could help if I knew exactly what I was doing. But I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I just kind of know what I'm doing. That's 13. That's self-explanatory. Yeah, these aren't how-to videos. This is, I guess, what not to do, or figuring out what to do videos. So, another thought I'd just slide in. Yeah, there we go. Sit this down on the towel. Still don't see what I broke. That's a 4-pinion planet. That thing is solid. Yep. Band is straight. It's not a wide band. It's a regular band. Looking down in there. Yeah, that's locked in. Spins real easy. No large hunks of anything, no cracks on nothing I can tell so far. So let's keep digging and figure out why this thing stops working in second gear. Just lifts up. And again, super clean, no metal shavings anywhere. Don't even smell bad. So I'm not going to call that inspected, but a gander has been taken. I think I found my answer. It wasn't a planetary gear. If you look in here, all the faces of these clutch teeth, they're supposed to be full. Like these two, they're missing. And I got a lot of slack in here. So this might have been the planet in this section that I messed up. Go ahead and pull this apart, see what's going on here. Because I don't have a lot of metal in the transmission, but you could see, like that's a full tooth. And that one's been shaved off. See right there? So when it shifted in the second, it bit hard. And right there, like that's a full tooth. Actually, it started to work on that one too. That was my clack right there. That's what engaged or didn't engage and broke off on this clutch pack. All right, y'all, it was so hot out here the other day, I had to shut it down. The weekend came, had some kids' birthday parties to go to. This is day 2. Started a video on Friday, it's Monday now, so I found out that we have toasted the second gear clutches. I'm gonna go ahead and finish taking this pack apart and see what else is messed up in it. Hopefully I don't have to order anything else. I am not the best transmission guy. I'm just kind of learning as I go, but you can see in there, that's what a full tooth is supposed to look like. And if you noticed, you know, that's not. There's a bunch of not. And this cup, it's got a lot of play. More than I'd like it to. So let's go ahead and keep diving in and see what else I screwed up. So I'm gonna lay out a towel and lay everything out the way it comes out. Hold the snap ring already. And the correct orientation. This whole clutch pack came out. Seals and clutches. And the clutches have plenty of material left on them, but the teeth are gone. So pull this out just like this and set it just like this. In the order it was received. So take your time with it. Work that spring out. 2. I'm just gonna lay them out like they come out. That's the forward sprag. It's definitely spragging. Third looks good. Overdrive looks good. Look at that. So there's your third gear clutches. Not missing one tooth on those. And overdrive clutches down in the bottom. Not missing one tooth on those either. I still got the hash marks on the clutch packs. Good news. Man. No metal. Every one of them looks beautiful. Cool. All right, I took it down. I'm putting it back together. Everything's clean. Overdrive is clean. I'm putting the thirds back in how they're supposed to go. I'm just going to reuse these. There is nothing wrong with them at all. I mean, they're perfect clutches. There's no metal. There's no hint of wear. So once you put the overdrive in, then you can go ahead and put your sprag in. And then just stack the clutches, steels. That way you can get your clutches lined up on your sprag. And they go in right. Spin. And fall. Come on. Last one. There we go. And you can put your plate. The guy that had this built, or the guy that built this for me, did not put these spring packs in to allow the clutch packs to operate faster. Some people don't do it. Some people did do it. It was awesome how it was. I'm going to leave it how it was. But I remember one thing. Once you put this plate in, the whole third gear down, you got to put your spring back in. So this doesn't have any grooves in it. You can see where it was riding in the case on this side. So that's the way it's got to go. There is usually a rounded side and a square side, but all these are square. So I'll take the clutch side to where how it went, and I can see where it was rubbing in the case. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in this way. So you just kind of push it in and twist, let the spring compress. You just pop them into the grooves. Just keep working your way around and press them down. Well, cool. Now that I know what I got left to do, sorry, second gear clutches. I can't find just second gear clutches by themselves. I got to buy the whole pack, and I'll probably use the overdrive in thirds and something else that burnt up an overdrive in third. Put that back together and send it. But for right now, I just need a set of second gear clutches. I can put this 4L60 back together and see if I fixed it or not. Hey y'all, welcome back. It's next week. My parts came in, and we're about to put together this 4L60 with a gear reducted Sonax 6-pinion planetary. Check it out. Ordered off of eBay. My Repestus clutch pack. Got them all in there. In this box is the Sonax Performance. Sorry, it's one-handed. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Not at all.
High performance. Transmission planetary gear. We have taken this out of the box and fondled it plenty since I bought it for his Christmas present. There it is. That thing is amazing. It is a 6-pinion with the new sun gear, planetary, heavy duty, and will completely close ratio all the gears in this transmission. Note, this is for 06 and earlier. For 07 and later, you need to put the 06 bearing and 06 reaction shaft. 07 and later is slightly different. There's different sizes on the inside. And if you're doing a 07 or later transmission, you're going to have to change that to the 06 and earlier stuff. Mine's 06. We were rolling with it.
Oh, yeah.
So what to do now is to pop open the third gear clutches. Let's match them up. Everything's a different size. That's reverse, I know. So I need to pop these out and some put trans fluid and let them soak for 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes soak, we're going to go ahead and pop these into the forward carrier. But in the meantime, let's swap out this 4-pinion stock planetary and throw the 6-pinion gear reducted in. I'll explain that in a minute. All we need seconds. That's all I'm pulling out. Save these for another build. And these here, they match up perfectly with these here as far as diameter and how the teeth line up. So that's the one. Got me a brand new bucket. I'm gonna soak these for 30 minutes. Some Dexmert. give them a good little coating. Let them sit there and suck all that juice up. All right, so while the clutches are soaking, I went and I pulled this little snap ring off with these little Irwin pliers, and I put them on like the wrong way where I got extra reach, kind of spread them. It took me a couple tries. I'm gonna get the right tools eventually one day. These just kind of like sit on here, and when you squeeze, they spread. They're supposed to go on the whole way, and there's a keeper that goes through, but I don't have enough length, so they work like this. They spread them enough to where you can get this in there and pick it off. So this comes out. Then you can reach in and remove the stock 4-pinion planetary gear. It comes out. Bearings look good though. So this comes out, and then you can remove the planetary gear. Always watch for that bearing that falls. So smooth spot up, sits in that case. And let's inspect the sun shell while we're here. So I don't see any cracking. This was one of those hardened ones. It's a TY 150149 740 T6TS. And it looks like it's in really good shape. Nothing looks sheared on the sun gear. So I'll go ahead and just put this back in how it was. What we got here. Yeah, little plastic piece is nice and straight. Again, no metal shavings. This is first gear down in here. So go ahead and pop the sun gear back in. Make sure it's seated, give it a spin. Never a bad idea. Make sure your bearing is, I guess, bearing up, case down. Yeah, there you go, sun shell. Slide this dude up in there. Since we went this far, inspect this thing for cracks. These are known for going out.
This just spins like this, or is it locked down?
It locks down on this shit. Like I said, this ain't a how-to. Watch out. You just gotta line up the splines.
I was gonna stop it from spinning.
And it'll drop down. There you go.
Yeah.
Then using the factory 4-pinion outer, make sure your bearing sits in there. Drop this down. There you go. This shaft kind of rotates because there's another pinion or planet pinion gear down in there, planetary gear. So then you have the Sunax 6-pinion. Remove the sun gear. Lower this into place. It'll just roll down in there. Once the teeth line up, there it goes.
Yeah.
Now we have a close ratio. First, second, same third overdrive. So, on your front input, you are going to now take the got for later, nice and tight like new. It's only got 30,000 miles on it. What you're going to do now is take off this snap ring. Damn, good thing I said snap ring. There's the snap ring that holds the planet in.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
I'm telling you. All right. So put me some assembly goo. I want to start that bushing dry and drop the Sunax 6-pinion planet in place. This one is a very tight fit. You just got to kind of spin it till it falls in. because it's 6 of them to line up. There you go. You'll hear the snap and it falls right in. Now, give it a couple spins. Don't forget your snap ring to keep it in place. Yeah, it's funny, huh? Snap ring. And then that's just gonna little overly pliers here. Where's my light? Because it's nighttime now and I can't see. Flip that to where I can put my finger on it. All right, that's on. Now let's go and install the, I guess it's a sun gear. This one's smaller than this one. Now, bigger than that one. That's where your gear reduction comes in. So let's go ahead and pull the, and then this gets replaced with this. This is awesome. So before you drop your Sonax 6-pinion gear reduction planetary in, don't forget to put your bearing. Make sure it's seated and you're ready to go. All right, so like I was showing you the other night, the gear, sun gear that comes with the 6-pinion, this is this 4-pinion, is dramatically larger. So when you're gonna go drop this sprag unit in, it ain't gonna fit. So yeah, remember to take your bearing off of here before you slide it on to any other part. So that's out of the way. Now, this, I got a 50-50 shot of putting this back in right. I'm gonna have to dig into that. I'll let you on there. So here's your sprag. And this got little teeth that kind of snap this on. So I'm gonna have to pry this out. Yeah. So that's out. Put that guy with that guy. That's a good unit, man. All right, cool. So then this can now pop right in there. A good sturdy pair of pump pliers, and you can get on it nice and straight, and you can just give it just a little tweak and straighten them out. We'll leave that one bent. And now I'm past where I need to go. And just that one. That one's already passed. That one's about to go past. That one's right on. Let's see if we can give it a tap now. That's it. She's in. So now that's locked in. I'm gonna go ahead and tap those little ears down to make them. I mean, it's not coming off, but there's a lot of spinning going on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap these back to where they're grabbing. Make sure it's seated all the way. Yeah, it's in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little persuasion back to the correct orientation. Then we can put the forward drum back together. Give them all a good little knock. Why not, right? Cool. Yep. Yep. And yep. That ain't no slack in that. All right, now we put our sprag back together. And these are angled just so slightly one direction and not the other. And I'm not sure which way they go on. So I believe the way to put it in correctly is to put it in here first. I can see which way this was spinning. Just gotta kind of push them in and rotate. And they'll all sink in eventually. Alright, that's in. That's just your top ring. This will center on there. And then this cup sits on this. And then we have a snap ring that puts that on. So let me get this back together. And that way I can see if I have my sprag in correctly. I wish I didn't have to take all this apart to line up. But it's now on the inside. And you should be able to get it to spin in. There you go. Spun in. And then that bottoms out. This pinches everything together. This snaps on. You put your ring on, and this will only let it spin. Shit. One way. Try it again. That's why you get the snap ring on. Now we're in. That's in. We are only spinning one direction. Just gotta be sure that's the correct direction. And I'll go ahead and I'll pop my lock ring back in it, and we'll get this front put back together right. All right, so after double checking I'm correct, when you hold it all together, it must free turn clockwise, apply counterclockwise. So that's correct. I can go ahead and pop my clip in it. Now I have one piece. Make sure your clip is in all your little teeth. So I am free turning clockwise, applied counterclockwise. And I have my Sonax 6-pinion gear reduction gear installed. That thing ain't popping off nowhere. All right, so now in order to get the forward sprag in, I'm gonna remove third gear. It's easier to line up overdrive on the clutches. All right, that's 2 clutches. Click, in there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put third gear in, back exactly how I took it off. I got a metal. So now that third gear is in, it's not in. I don't have enough room to set my, kind of rotate this clockwise a little bit. Nope, I don't have enough room to put my spring in. My retainer clip. It's not all the way seated. All right, so I figured out my issue. If you noticed before, this cup was on this side and it had a whole lot more space. It's supposed to fit inside of itself. That way, when the overdrive clutches, they got something to pop and stop up against. So I'm gonna pop this in here now. Rotate it down, sit on that bushing. There we go. And now all my clutches will line up and stop right where that spring's supposed to have them stop at. So we're gonna throw a wave in it. And then the first steel. And then repeat, friction steel till you run out. And I have room to put my snap ring. That's what I'm talking about. The top snap ring has a little piece that sticks off. This is the one for that. It's square. I don't know if there is a right way to put it in or not. So just kind of get it close, let it start shrinking. Get you a screwdriver and work it in. That's it. In there, locked in. Now, so the clutches have been soaking in this brand new transmission fluid overnight. Time to stack them in accordingly. I'm just going to trade them out with the ones that are in this pack here. So that's your top one. The bottom one has these feet. So we have to drop that in. Even though this one doesn't look bad, it's got a little notch. So we'll throw that one away. Here we go. And then the top plate. I don't think it matters which way it goes up, but sometimes there's a letter stamped on it. And the letter usually goes up, but I don't see it on this one. Nope. And it's the same thickness, the same lip on both sides. We're just going to put it in. Retainer spring. This is the one with the cut in it I was telling you about. Sometimes they're rounded and sometimes they're square. It's got a little rounded edge and a flat edge. Gonna put the rounded edge to the top. And then in there, babe. That sprag is biting. Yeah, it's turning the whole shaft down here. There we go. Time to install the transmission. Remember that bushing I was showing you about? It's right here. It's inside the cup. Make sure that's in. That bearing. So it sits on this with the bushing slide through. That's it. That's on. You can look in and see it turn and touch the bearing. Now, align your bottom gear. There it goes. And we'll just spin into place. So I got the front band in, the reverse input, the Sonax gear reduction 6-pinion planet, and new second gear clutches. We'll go ahead and rebuild the pump in the next video. Hey y'all, welcome back to Modified. I got the 4L60 put back together with the Sonax 6-pinion close ratio front planetary. I went through the whole thing, didn't find one metal shaving besides what was in the pan, and this is how I finished putting it back together. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe, of course. Go to my channel, check out my playlist, and get caught up. But here is the RCSB Project and the modified, finally, 4L60E that's going into the RCSB. This week, we're going to check the pump out. We're going to inspect the pump for any kind of shavings that may have got up in it that the filter didn't catch. If it's good, we're going to go ahead and slap it in, install it, and put the valve body on. All right, so the pump comes apart with these 5 screws back here. 13. I believe all the bolts are the same length, so it doesn't really matter. Also, if you get a replacement pump from a transmission shop, hold on to these because they'll usually give them to you with 1 or 2 bolts in them. Ask me how I know. So, in the pump, we have nothing. There's nothing grabbing on my fingernail. There's a little bit on the outside right here that I can see. Something went around it and got caught up in the filter. That looks good. Let's take these vanes out. It's a 13 vane pump. Nothing's broken or cracked. Yeah, that wear pattern is right. I mean, it's right there. It's perfect. And as far as the vanes go, you make magnets for that shop. They're nice and smooth. Yeah, I mean, I got some circular scoring, but nothing deep. I think I could put it back together and send it. Cool. Well, I'll just put this back together how I found it. That works for me. Portion looks good. I think this is one of those that we can just send it. I'm not going to say this pump is rebuilt, but it's definitely been inspected and good to go. So, rotates freely. You can see where it picks up the fluid and squirts it out as it gets tight. Everything moves nice and easy. I can see some lines, but I can't even feel them with my fingernail. So I want to say the pump's good. We're good. Good? We're good. All I do know is I went and checked all these valves. They're all clean. This is where the filter picks up into the pump. I forgot what the valve does. This is the one that builds your pressure. Yeah, this is your lockup valve. So they're all clean, clean of debris. One last thing to check is this filter here. And I got like a dot of whatever that could possibly be. So we get a new one out of my extra. I got some extras out of my filter box. So I always keep extra part pieces because you never know. This just slides in and clicks in place. That's it. Done. So now the vanes have been looked at, the pump's been looked at. There's no cracks. There's no anything. I'm going to grab some Dexmark and lubricate this pretty good. Give it a little spin. Want it to be all in there. It's kind of like priming it. Anytime you see a dry vane, go ahead and fill it in. There's enough wasted hot fluid. And then something that's going to let the top pump fall into the bottom pump. So on this pump, there's the square. And you can see that there's the square. So we're going to match up the square with the square. Drop it down. And what's really going to line you up is the bolt holes. So once your squares have been matched up, go ahead and drop the bolts back in. Give them a wiggle and I'll find their home. Back together and cross my fingers, but I feel pretty good about this. All my Teflons look good, and I'm not sure if this is necessary, but I have it, so I might as well use it. Try to keep it clean in this plastic bag. It's a pump alignment tool, and it's pretty much just a wing nut and vane clamp. So before I go cinching this thing together, I'm going to tighten this up, make sure it's round and square, or square to its round. Make sure it's halfway in between. 18 foot-pounds. Torque the 5 pump to cover to pump body bolts to 18 foot-pounds while the alignment strap is tight. Boom. Grab that torque wrench I got. I knew the answer was in there somewhere. Actually, the baller dropped off this digital. 14. Too far. 18. Make sure it's on foot-pounds, not inch-pounds, Newton meters. Kind of in a star pattern like you do your wheel on your 5-spoke. You got a 5-lug wheel. Do the crisscross, make the star, you know? drop this in the transmission. It's been disassembled, so I might as well put some reassembly glue on it. Stuff don't hurt nothing. Wrap it around these Teflons and grab these inside bushings, just so it's not a dry start. This stuff will melt right off and turn into transfer. Before you go dropping this pump in, there's this little plastic spacer that lines up right there, right there. And I just want to be sure it stays when I go drop this thing in it upside down, that it doesn't fall off on me. Mess up any type of clearance, tolerance, or whatever. So, put some of this on the flat spots. And this waxy stuff, smear it around like it's holding it on. It does. Go ahead and take off this alignment tool. Like I said, this ain't how to, this is figuring it out. So I got this copper and rubber gasket. It's not tore up. This was what came off of it. It was sealed very well. I already put the paper gasket down at the bottom of the pump, housing, transmission, whatever. If you just keep everything straight as it goes in. One bolt, make sure the O-ring's on it. I like to put some of that assembly lube on this too, so it'll slip when it goes to turn. I saw it line up when I dropped it in. And that just caught the thread. Yep, good to go. Show you what I'm talking about. This valve needs to be straight down. That's where your filter goes to pick up everything, and there's your lockup valve. Band's in, everything is in. Now we just need to set this gasket down flat and then torque the pump down. It'll pull everything with it. Sorry, I ran them down. Sorry. Don't know why, but sometimes the GoPro does not record when you press record. So it's 18 foot-pounds on these also. I'm good. And this little copper alignment deal that they can work real also. So next we're going to jump on the valve body part. Give it a little flip. I already went and put the tail shaft back on. That's not that big a deal. All right, a few days have gone by. Weekends passed. Bad weather. Got more coming, so I'm trying to rush this. Hate rushing stuff. This transmission was built by a very reputable builder that doesn't build them anymore, which is why I decided I'm going to learn how to do this, because I just don't have a brain to throw to somebody every time I need a transmission built. It's been more often than not lately. So I'm just kind of following this guy's footsteps as far as what was there and how it was and how it's going to go back together is exactly how I'm taking it apart so I don't miss anything. But right now, I have taken off the 1-2 accumulator and 3-4 accumulator and the separator plate. And I've cleaned all that up. This is the spring that was in it. This pin you should be able to take up. It's like vacuum sealed in there. I can't spin this. It's like it's locked in. So I'm going to leave it locked in. And I cleaned up any little bit of aluminum or schmutz that was in this gasket. This gasket is labeled CV or CA. Can't tell. But I have one. So the CA gasket, you can see right there, was on this side. My screens are clean. And everything's been wiped down. So I can put this back on how it was. I didn't even remove my check ball. So should be good to go just to slap it back together. The valve body's clean. I haven't found any more aluminum anywhere else besides what was right there in that little gasket. I've done taken the whole transmission down and put it back together. No aluminum. So with the new forward clutches and the gear reduction planetary, I think we're good to go. So let's get this valve body put back on. So I've got my new gasket here. It goes like this. And this side, I tore it, and it's got a VB valve body. And in my collection of leftovers, I have another VB valve body. So put my new gasket on the top side. That's the only difference in the gaskets that I know of is the literature on the sides. And how to make them straight, flat, and perfect. The bolts line them up and you drop the valve body on in the grab bag. So here's my 1-2 accumulator. It moves nice and free. Look at that. Got the jism everywhere. So this isn't stuck. I'm taking it apart. The seal-innets are good. It moves very free. And I'm going to use this to keep this plate down. It's got 3 bolts. They're kind of obvious. 2 shorts and a long. The long goes on the long side, the short's on the short side. I'm going to use this to kind of keep the plate and the gasket straight, along with this plate that goes on the back here. You got my blue tarp just in case the rain sneaks up on me. Using these 3 little short 8mm head bolts, I'm going to go ahead and try to line up this gasket and the separator plate. And it's cut weird on purpose, so it only goes on one way. I'm going to loosely get this started. It went in pretty easy. If you're forcing it, something's wrong. To me, this is the scary part. All right, nothing's on it. Everything's clean. Make sure nothing's covered up or half crossed. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on the correct orientation. Like I said, I'm new. I'm nervous. I'm not one of these guys who's going to get slammed back together because I don't know what I'm doing yet. And I don't know how important it is to get this perfect or not. But I want to make sure it's perfect. All right, so we are finger snug. Reviewing my instructions, it tells you where all the balls go. And you can kind of look at the separator plate if you look at them long enough and see that they go everywhere that there's a weep hole to allow the fluid to uncheck the ball. Here's your reverse. It will slide to either hole. There's a check ball under the accumulator, but it goes under the separator plate. I never removed it. It's already in there. Now I can just take and transfer the valve body with all the bolts in. So you start in the center and you just kind of work your way out in a circle. I like to make sure they all at least start before you start hammering on. This little gun I got, the first little functional stay on it. It doesn't really torque it to about 5 foot-pounds, so. And the pressure switch. Before I go putting this on, I'm gonna check to make sure the pressure buttons don't have any hook in them. I believe I cleaned them, but yeah, no, they're all clean. This one's got, see that gasket right there? I got new O-rings for this. All right, so the rain is cut off with me, but this is what I found going to put the pressure switch back in. I don't know if you can see. There is a torn cover, and there's fluid behind this. And I also found these O-rings like this. The O-ring isn't an O anymore. It's, you can see it. It's flat. See, it's got a flat spot. So when the pressure would go in, it wouldn't stay. It would squirt out the flat spot. And that probably is what led my transmission to flying 2 years at the same time. I'm just guessing. I'm not sure. If any of y'all know, leave a comment. So this was on D2 and D4. My pressure switch happens to be labeled, so it tells you, here's D4, the O-ring's perfect. It was D2 and D3 that were squared off. Here's R for reverse. So it sends pressure to different ones, sending out to the computer. There's your temperature. So the computer knows what gear your truck's going to be in. So I'm just wondering if it went to shift in a second, didn't have a second gear reading because the O-ring was squared out, and it tried to shift in a second, third at the same time, and ended up frying the forward clutches. So that's the only thing I found besides the smooth forward clutches and the bad O-ring on this whole assembly or disassembly, reassembly of this 460. So here we are. I have a replacement pressure switch. Everything has just been kind of hand tight. We're going to go ahead and retorque the manifold to 8 foot-pounds. I have a new filter, and we're going to reinstall the lockup, hook all the harness back up, and put the pan on it and get it ready to put in the RCSB. We went and pushed it in here before it started raining. Got it on the lift. And I believe in the next video, we'll actually put the transmission in. And tighten up this valve body, finish assembling the bottom end upside down, and put the pan, we'll put the filter and pan on it. Make sure you get the correct filter for your application. There's the rubber seal. I like the cork ones. I'll save that for another time. I got a cork seal in that box over there. Yeah, it's a good seal. There it goes. Nice and clipped. Also, you want to be sure that you got the correct filter for your pan. So they make a deep filter and a shallow filter. The shallow filters are going to be usually the metal ones. You can see if I sit this here, that's going to be right at the bottom of the pan. It's the same depth. So I'm going to have maximum fluid penetration. Let's go clean this out while I take that phone call. Man, it's so clean you can eat off of it. Wipe down the outside. So they got a square punched into the bottom of the pan. That's where your magnet goes. It kind of sits over here in this area. Pressure switch. And we're going to go ahead and throw a gasket on it. It's raining pretty good now. You can hear the frogs. Call me old school, but I like my cork gaskets. If you torque them correctly, they never leak. But that cork, man, just lays out right where it's supposed to go. And I'm confident. I'm ready to go. Hands clean. It's raining. Typical Louisiana. Let's put some bolts in it, no? So when I wipe the pan down, I always punch the bolt holes backwards with a ball peen hammer. Not much, but just enough so if it's cupped down, it doesn't push on the gasket at one point and make a, I just use the back of this ball peen here. That way it pushes on the gasket evenly. And you can overcrush cork. That's why people usually have problems with it. It's not supposed to be tight. The torque spec on this is 9 foot-pounds. I like to start everything by finger and make sure I don't cross thread anything first. I hope that little O-ring I caught on that pressure switch was my 100% problem of frying my forward clutches. For me, the only way to know and find out is to put it together and see what happens. 13 millimeter. I'm going to zip them down. I'm exclusively a freight harbor shopper because I can't afford nothing else. Foot-pounds. 9 foot-pounds. Watch this. And it's not going to leak a drop. And I'm going to go around every one twice just to make sure they're evenly at 9 foot-pounds. But 9 foot-pounds, even after hitting it with the impact, is a lot more than you think it would be. instead of standing it straight up, I'm kind of leaving it on an angle because I don't want all the fluid I just put in it running out the tail shaft. I had drizzled transmission fluid on the planetary and a bunch of parts on the inside before I buttoned it all back together, just to be sure it had some kind of coating on it besides that assembly goo. And now we're going to go ahead and slide the bell housing on the front. That's it. That's what I've been looking for since I started. The last pile of bolts. Seals in and good. Bracket to hold it in to be sure is good. We're all good. Everything's in. O-ring. Everything's lubricated for the torque converter. You can go ahead and throw this bell housing on it. I am not using any kind of Loctite on this. They do not come loose. I start every one of them with my fingers just to be sure the threads are lined up. Then I'm going to run them in with my little light green impact. Oh, look at that little gun. It's quick and it's not strong necessarily. It'll drive screws all day. But as far as like torquing things, you don't want to torque with an impact anyway. Got a 1/2 inch adapter on this little screw gun. It's kind of funny looking. But it'll put them in. I'm just going to crisscross them in. Turn on the dude here. It's on foot-pounds. Oh, 15 is not bad. I'm going to skip one as I go around. All right, now I'm going to jump up to 30. I'm scared of these things, man. 30 foot-pounds. When I see that red light, I'm good. Always be straight on it and hold your extension flat as you can. So tighten all these to 30 the first time, and these are like self-tightening bolts because I'm seeing 32 and 33 and they're still not budging. That's in there, bro. So I got my goo. Go ahead and give a wipe on this stator shaft or whatever the hell this is, the pump shaft thing here. Double check that my O-ring's got a lot on it. Got my adapter up, put a bunch on my seal. I'm gonna put a little bit on the converter too. It's just a good little wipe. Put some on the inside, why not? I passed the magnet all around the inside of this converter as fast as I could. I didn't come up with a piece of metal at all. I ran it around the bottom. They kind of did this centrifugal to the center so I could get anything to move to the middle. Stuck it in the hole. Couldn't find any metal at all in the converter, so I guess it's a guess. It's a huge no-no. But I guess no metal got in this converter. And it all got sucked up into the filter. And we're going to be good. So let's stab the converter in and then spin it until it locks into the pump gear. It's pre-filled because of the previous engagement. All the fluid's nice and red. There it is. Slid in for me right there. I'm in the pump. And I'm bottom deck. So I did notice on that pump gear, I need to put about an 1/8 inch shim. So when it pulls out, I got 100% contact to the drive pump. And on those two little notches, they were about 3/4 of the way touching, which is good contact, but I want 100. So it's about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to go get some machine bushings to put behind these bolts. So when I tighten them up and it pulls it to the flex plate, it doesn't pull it out too far. But we're ready to put it in the truck. We're throwing the modified 4060 and the RCSB.
If you're new to the channel, check out all the playlists. We've been to many events like Scraping the Coast, Cruising the Coast, all the playlists. You can check it through, see all the mainline events. We have some coming up like Cruising the Coast for 2024. It's going to be good.
So, like I said, like and subscribe. Go check out the channel. Look up playlist RCSB to find out more where this has come from and where it's going. We're going to drop in this modified 4060 transmission. It's been modified with brand new clutches and a Sonax 6-pinion gear reduction planetary, making it a close ratio. So that being said, it's going to keep the engine more in the optimal RPM range, and we can dial that in with tire size and rear end gears. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and throw this thing up in the truck and get it going.
Heck yeah, Bubba.
All right, so taking a look under here, Cole has everything cleaned up nicely. The frame's painted black, no rust to be seen. There's rust. Nevertheless.
Damn it.
I have the flywheel set up to where the oval belt is kind of not round. Or that is round. Shadows in the way. So this one you can see is oblonged. So we're going to start with that one and loosely put it in and rotate the flywheel. And then start and tighten that one second go around. But everything under here is ready to go as far as installation goes. And Cibala went and got me this transmission jack. I'm legit now, y'all. $30. Gotta love Facebook Marketplace. So let's go ahead and put this in here, button it up, try to get this video done with. All right, hold up. We all the way up. Man, this is crazy. I can see what I'm doing. Go up one pump, not a full one. A little bit. We're on already. This is ridiculous. Are we? Yeah, like this is ridiculously easy. Now we're just gonna put bolts in it. This is great.
No.
Like this is stupid. This is the
Wait,
easiest.
it's in?
It's in. We just need to pop the damn bolts in.
No way.
This is
Oh my god.
This is the stupidest, easiest thing.
What?
Dude, look at this. Look at this.
No, come see. You in.
I don't need to come see. I'm trying to get this thing off of here.
No, you. No. Come see.
Give me the. Shut up. Look,
Come see.
we're in. Like all the way around.
You see?
Freaking transmission jack is amazing. Like we just need to put bolts in it. We're gonna put some bolts in it.
In the matter of 5 minutes, not even. The pin already in. To there. This is stupid easy. What?
Tightening these is a different story. We're getting them in. It ain't so bad anymore. I mean, y'all did an awesome job cleaning this frame up. Thank you. It just makes it nicer when you're under here. Yeah, you don't have stuff flying off on you. Well, under you. Very top one. All this is necessary to make it easy to get it in there. You just grab every extension you got and snake up over the top. You got the air ratchet. Ugh. Yeah. Put it very, very top when you have to put your swivel. And yeah, there's a trick you can do with O-rings, but I like some electrical tape. Makes it a little stiffer. Ugh. It's like the fastest transmission install we ever did.
That didn't even take long.
This is ridiculous.
And you see where the bottom was?
The bottom is without the studs going. Yeah, with the little shoulder on them.
Yeah.
You got over here and here.
And there.
Dude, this is great. We'll be popping the cross member in it before you know it. No! Yes! No! You know, my whole life, I've been hearing my dad say, yeah, everything's easier when you got a lift. Dude, I went and bought a lift. Here.
You already got the top one in?
Yeah, I got them all in.
What?
Dude, they're tight. All the bolts are already tight. It's only been like 5 minutes.
That should be put in a book.
I'm telling you. So now we just got to put the studs on for the vent and the fuel lines. And go up with it, put the cross member underneath it. That's pretty freaking sweet.
That is.
I wish there was a way to show y'all what I'm doing, but I've got these little clips And I'm going to go ahead and put them on first because they're like little springs. And yeah, if I can see, y'all can see. Let's see. Right there, where the lines go in it, put you to clip first. They are acrobatic, so watch out. But it's really hard to do one hand. But you clip them in, and you can just push the lines in, and you're done. They just push and snap in. Now this transmission that came out of the truck wasn't blown up. The engine had jumped timing. So I'm not worried about how much trash and all is in the radiator. I flushed all that out with some of that spray trans foam stuff and it hit it with a little air. We're going to put an aftermarket transmission cooler on it anyway. So let's just get the lines hooked up. They've been cleaned. Make sure you do that with that foamy transmission stuff. And then when we get to the front, when we take the grill off the thing, we'll go ahead and put that aftermarket transmission cooler on it.
Lifting up a whole truck, look at me.
Make sure your E-clips are already in your ports. And go ahead and pop your lines in place. That way, you just pop it in and you don't have to worry about putting the clip on later. You really just put the clips on first before the transmission even goes in. It makes it super easy. But there it went. And we're in. Cool. Let's put the cross member underneath it now. So it's not supported by your oil pan. Yep. All right, going up. Put your fuel lines in the fuel line holder. There we go. Can't get no higher than that. Nope. Cross member time. Yerp. That would be this way. Yeah. All right, this side then. All right. Let that side go. Pop this one in. Hey, your transmission is in. The RCSB has gears. There we go. Done. Grabber. Jack got the way now. What you think? 21, 22? We're 21. Try it.
I was all right.
Correct though?
Yes.
Are both sides 21?
Yes.
Inside.
I'll hold it. Go. Other one. That's not taken in. Go ahead. Hold on. Go.
The easy way.
Yes. Go ahead.
450 foot-pounds of
nut-busting torque. There's too much nut-busting torque. I can't take it off. Give me a little hammer.
You want the little hammer? You have little hammer. Yeah. Look here, youngster.
Your Spider-Man's in.
All right, now we're hooking up the electrical plugs. I got the big green plug on the side over here and the speed sensor in the back. I got the transmission plugs over here. You got the Prindle switch.
Yep.
And the reverse light plug. Maybe we've just done this too much.
Probably.
Is that why this is going together so easily?
We have splints this before.
I mean, that just snapped right in. This just snapped right in. I mean, we've done.
I gotta be different. Mine's not going in.
We got done Charlie's little truck.
Did Paige's truck.
Yep, the Master P's truck. The rest of these wires are there 2 sensors, and we got a whole exhaust system built for this thing.
All right.
Got a one of a kind D Nasty special for this one. Woo! You don't even know.
It's been written down on paper.
And you got your puke tube to hook up.
I do.
The puke tube. I'm all about them hard clips. Well, there's your puke tube. It's up here. Stick your hand up on top from your side. And find the little plastic nipple it sits on and stick it on it.
Find a little what?
Yeah, they're hard to plug in on this side.
You can tell they're stubborn. There's little gaskets on them.
Yeah, the little gaskets kind of swell when they get dirt on them.
Oh, there's a little rod up here.
It's not a rod. It's a little plastic vent off the top of the transmission.
Yeah. How hard does it have to go on? I think I'm on it.
It's just got to go on it.
That's it.
That's it.
Not like super ass tight, just on it?
Oh, it's got to be super ass tight, but it's got to be on it.
Oh. How far on it?
My buddy Trey at home watches knows what we talking about. It's just a vent, dude. It's just got to sit. Pull the clip.
You drop something.
Push it through. Push it on the clip. There we go. And this nut holds on your shifter cable.
Alternator. It's probably the alternator.
Hooking up your shifter cable, there's a telltale. That's where the bolt went. And then this side is dirty. That means it went that way.
Oh. Okay. Oh, you already took it off.
Yeah. Not sure that the ladies and gentlemen can see what I'm doing. However,
I can check for you.
man, the last episode of
The Grand Tour.
Grand Tour is this Friday. You will be missed, chaps.
Yes. Indeed.
Get on it.
I grew up watching them.
Probably your shifter isn't in park up there.
No, it's a neutral.
Let's see if we can just move this to get it on with a pair of pliers. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and turn this back one click so we can line it up. Because he said he's got a neutral up in the cab.
What does that do? Say we put it in neutral to get it over.
Why would you put it in neutral with no transmission now? Doesn't matter. It's on.
It doesn't matter.
Give me a 15.
Doesn't matter.
You're 15, goofus.
I'm getting you a 15. Shallow? Actually, there's a 15 over here. Ratchet.
Sure. Take a ratchet. Tight. Transmission and all electrical connections are hooked up. Time to do the torque converter. So I noticed when I was rebuilding the pump that the converter wasn't completely engaged. So I need to put a machine bushing in. And the machine bushing was so funny. What? So the machine bushing, they're all three exactly the same weight. People use washers, but if you go to the hardware store, there's something called a machine bushing, and it's for doing exactly this. So looking up in there, I don't know if I can get y'all to see what I'm trying to show y'all, but there's a gap that you have to pull the converter out to line up to the flywheel or a flex plate, and the pullout's a little bit more than what we need, so I'm going to shim it with some machine bushings, and that way the pullout will be exactly what we need and not too much. I don't have any good way to show y'all this. I'm going to start with that oval hole and slide this machine bushing in between it, then the bolt, and the converter's threaded, so I'm going to be all up in the way, and I don't know how to film that good or well, or however the English is supposed to work with that. So I'm going to go ahead and pop all three of these in, tighten the converter down, and I'm going to stick a pry bar in this little hole. I know they make a flywheel spinner, but I can't get that in there. So I'm going to stick a pry bar against the flex plate, spin the engine over, and me and Cole are going to go ahead and put these machine bushings in place, tighten it all up, come over here and tell me when you start to see the new hole come down. So I've already got one with the spacer in it, and I started in the oval hole. Compression stroke. Good. That one there? Yes. A little bit more down.
You want me to just line it up with this one?
You got to put the washer behind the flex plate and the bolt through the front of both of them and get it into the torque converter. Gravity is not your friend. There it is. That has slipped in. Got it finger tight. And finger tight still sticking out a good little ways. So I have to show y'all what I'm doing here. Everybody that's worked on that lessons knows. However, that is the spot that you got to get your bolt tight. You got to get your finger behind here to hold the washer while you put the bolt in the front and line it up with the threads on the torque converter at the same time. But we only got one more to go. If I could do it, you could do it. One more time. You got an eye on it? Yep. All right. We'll start right there. All right, last machine bushing and torque converter bolt. Do some Cirque du Soleil stuff here with your fingers. All right, so after you get all three of your bolts finger started with your spacer behind them, snug them as you spin all three, and then tighten them as you spin all three, and it'll center the converter on the flywheel or flex plate. What this is doing is pulling the converter evenly to the flex plate. I usually do this twice. You'll notice when you go around second time, actually I think it was a little too tight. The first one that you did will be loose again because it'll pull everything out. There we go. That's been snugged. We'll go around 2 more times. All right, y'all. I have the torque converter bolt with a 16th inch machine bushing between the converter and the flex plate, allowing for a 16th of an inch pull out. So in there, y'all can see I have a 16th inch machine bushing spacing my converter back into the transmission, allowing full contact with the transmission pump gear. Transmission is in, lines are hooked up. I haven't put the dipstick in yet, but I have all the electrical hooked up, and this 4L60 is in Charcoals 01 RCSB.
Yep.
You're supposed to say regular cab short bed.
Regular cab short bed.
Yeah, that thing. So the engine is full of fluid, the transmission's full of fluid. We've left the spark plugs out, connected the wires just so we can pop them in later. And you ready to go see if we got some oil pressure? Yeah. Let's go spin this thing over and see what we got. I wonder if the gauge will work with the key in the start position. Come on, there it is. Cool. Right. Well, hold it down for like a minute. Make sure you get the oil circulated all throughout the transmission and the engine good. And then we'll pop the spark plugs in and start it up. All right. This is awesome.
Let me know when.
Good. So yeah, while he's doing that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. Let the oil system completely prime. Throw the spark plugs in this thing and fire it up. Straight manifolds. One of my favorite YouTubers, LT Tolman. He does pretty much everything I'm trying to do to this truck here. I've learned a bunch from watching him. Definitely one of my favorite YouTubers. Break time, I catch up on my own YouTube stuff. So the engine is primed, and I'm going to go and prime the fuel system now. Run it over to the modified laptop. Got my HP tuners open. And let's turn the key on. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to resync my interface. I do it every time. HP tuners suggest doing that just to update it. And connect to vehicle. All right, so we're connected now. And what I'm going to do is go to my special functions and go to fuel system. Turn the fuel pump on. I can hear it. Now I'm going to go to the front and grab something and check if I have fuel pressure. Let the air out of it. You'd be surprised it takes a little longer than you think. I was getting air for a minute and now oh yeah, I got fuel now. We can fire the truck off and see if it pops. I'll get back to my HP. Pump off. Right. Now when I cycle the key, the truck will do the rest. So I can turn that off. Shut that down for a second. Rotate the key off and on. You'll hear the pump. Moment of truth. See if it starts. Can't let it run too long because I don't have any coolant in it. Yeah, buddy. She makes noise. Right. Well, firing a hole, everything's successful. I'm gonna check for leaks and put the exhaust system back on it, and we'll try the transmission so I can hear if there's anything going on with it with the truck quiet. Excuse the fan, but a fan in Louisiana is life. You gotta do something to move that hot, wet air. So put the screw back on the fuel rail. And I believe I have the complete cooling system wrapped up. There's a clamp on every hose. And the top line, bottom line, we're all on. So instead of burning up a water pump, got my decks cool. Why? Because that's what came in it. I hate how you have to fill up the reservoir instead of the radiator cap, but I guess it's safer this way. Some antifreezes require distilled water. Antifreeze also lubricates your water pump. It stops corrosion from going in between your engine and your heads and your radiator. If you ran just water, you'll notice the water's rusty. Well, all that's from the inside of the engine rusting, getting into everything else. So in the back here it says it's concentrate. You got to add water to it. Use only distilled water. Serious. Right there. The chlorine and all in your tap water will mess with how this coolant works. But if you want it to last, use the right stuff. So this isn't exactly a fun or interesting part, but I'm putting a stock Y pipe back on it. And I went and cleaned all my threads off with a 10 millimeter by 1.5 pitch die. And I'm just going to go and connect the stock muffler at the Y pipe and put up the stock exhaust. It's not modified, but it will make it quiet so I can hear this transmission if there's anything going on with it besides what I did to it. And if I can hear a whine or something else, and then I'm going to let it run through all the gears while it's up here on the lift before I go ahead and give it the okay and start doing smoky burnouts, whether cut the exhaust off. I want to be able to hear what the transmission's doing. I know the engine's fine. I done ragged that out myself. But just to make sure the transmission's 100 before I send my kid off in it, I want to be able to hear it. And then I'll be able to cut the mufflers off and modify that and make it fun too. So I'm going to bolt up the stock exhaust, and we're going to run it through the gears next just to see if what I did made a difference, if I fixed it or not. So we have the boring factory exhaust put back on. I believe James May would call this quiet and asinine. The quiet and asinine exhaust has been put back on with the giant coffin muffler over the axle and at the back. But for a good reason, because I want to hear what this transmission is doing. I know it grinded in the second and popped, and it would lock up the whole drivetrain. So that being said, let's get this screw jack out of the way, fire up this quiet asinine exhaust, and see if I fixed this 4L60 or not. All right, y'all. I really hate to end the video like this. I do. Bad news, the transmission's still doing the same thing, which means when I went through it, I did not go into the low reverse section, and my low reverse brag is bad. On that terrible disappointment, trying to pull the transmission back out. The engine is silent like a sewing machine with that quiet asinine exhaust on it. Engine runs perfectly just like it did in my 06 Silverado that it came out of, but I'm not going to fire it up and show y'all how quiet it is and how much noise it doesn't make, because when I tried the transmission out, and I was going to try it out before, should have recorded it, but I didn't. First gear, silent. Shifts in a second, you can hear the band clamp and the back tire starts slowing down. So like an idiot, tried to give it a little gas to see if I could power through it, and it made a god-awful crunching, clanking, just horrible noise. So that tells me that I cut a corner and I should have went all the way to the bottom of low reverse. And if I'd have taken out one more snap ring, I could have gotten to the low reverse section and saw that my low reverse brag was bad. So that being said, transmission's got to come back out and the engine runs flawlessly, but we're going to take it out one more time just to make sure it's right. I got a new sprag coming, fix it, put it back in. And hopefully next week we can lay some rubber, at least one tire, because I think it's an open differ. And hey, all, welcome back. We got the 4L60 back out of the RCSB. We're going to figure out what the hell's going on with this thing. Let's go ahead and blow this 4L60 apart. There's a snap ring about right here that holds the low reverse section in. And below that, I believe the low reverse brag is bitted, because every time I can hear the band clamp and it tries to shift in a second, tire starts slowing down in the back and it goes back into first gear. So I believe this brag back here is not letting it spin the direction it's supposed to, and that's the culprit. So let's go ahead and blow this apart and see if I'm right. Still learning, never been taught anything, haven't gone to school about it, just kind of read a book, and I've been working as I go and learning as I go. It might help you fix yours. T50P, T50 Plus, torque socket. I don't play with these. The heads are real soft and they strip on you, so I just use straight brunt. All right, so once I've broken them loose with my breaker bar, I can just go ahead and fastly get them out the rest of the way. When you do it enough, you can be like them professional guys. You can just put all the bolts in one pile. That means you've done this too much. 13 for the pan bolts. I already pulled these while the transmission was still vertical. We have a fairly clean pan. I have not cleaned this pan, but we have a little bit of metal. A lot of band clutch. I got a backup band too. I don't think it's bad, but since it's out, we'll go ahead and change it. It's a little worrying. There's a couple little pieces of metal in it. It's got to be sprag. It's got to be. So say I'm figuring this out as I go. I don't know. Y'all seeing it for the first time just like me. Filter. I might miss the filter. Filter clean. Had about 3 minutes of runtime on it. No metal to be seen in the filter. This well, that flies around stuff too. That's bad now. Yeah, probably not. PCC lockup. That comes out of the pump. This O-ring will stop the pump from coming out. I say that every time because I got to remind myself. So with this O-ring in place, good luck getting your pump off. Be careful with it if you don't have a spare. With the whole gasket. You want it out alive. All right, that's out nice and easy. Where is that Sonax 6-pinion plant? Where at? Yeah, that band, it's got some wear now. I remember I tried making the clamp 2 or 3 times. But that's all my black stuff that's in the pan. Not worn out by any means, but I think I have a better one than this. Oh, I hate this one. The worst one. Oh, man. That one right there. That guy. Screw that guy. There's a way to clip these in easier. The cuts on them are angled. And if you have these cuts facing up, it's easier to slide a screwdriver or these little pins that we use to get it out easier. And that is what stops a lot of people from pulling it out. Right. This is the 6-pinion Sonax gear reduction planetary. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing right there. All right, sunshell. Still pretty. Still got the plastic on it. So I got this snap ring out. This is where I stopped last time. And man, I did not see this. But if you can see here, I might be able to zoom in right there and there. Whatever's underneath this piston is cracked. And I can't get this sun gear out. So let me see if I can rotate this and get this piece out. Grab the shaft, tap. Here's the lower planet. This is what I broke in 2. You see, it's got the splits in it. Couldn't get this out of the lower planet. The sprag's in there. I could see it's all jacked up. There's my little metal pieces. I cracked the sprag housing or whatever that's called. I'm going to have to look that up and see what the right part number is. Yeah, that sprag is jacked up. Man. Yeah, there's all my little shiny metal pieces I was finding. If I wouldn't have cut this corner the first time, I would have saw this. It wouldn't have come out the second time. I would have had the right piece ordered. Battery died. I picked it up and gave it a little tap. I mean, not much at all, and it fell right out. Yeah, I got sprag pieces all up in there. Nope, this is cracked. Dude, I cracked this piece. Look at that. I cracked the freaking input sprag or low reverse. I cracked the low reverse planet, the bottom planet, whatever you call this. Holy crap. 323s and 35s shifting out at 70 miles an hour is bad. The outer race is stuck in this part. This is cracked right here. You know, if you can see the crack in it. The rollers are fine. They're all shifted clockwise when you look at it from this direction. And here is the 3 pieces the inner is now. All the rollers. They're all there. They've all been flattened. And here's the inside outside of the cage. Here are the 2 snap rings that hold it into this case here that the clutch is applied to. I can't beat this out of here, so I need all of this, not just a sprag. That's a stock 5.3. Now, granted, it was on 35s, but I mean, This is what a 70-mile-an-hour shift with a shift kit will do, I guess. Look how flat that is. That's spun. It got me home. That's spun though. Damn. All right. I have found my problem with the 4L60. No more question about it. I'm gonna go back through the forward overdrive pack and make sure the clutches are still good, and rob one of these out of another transmission I got sitting over here underneath this bench. So tomorrow's another day. Let's see if we can get the thing put back together, back in the truck, and running for the end of this video. All right, y'all. It's the next day in the video. Look, a GoPro is not the best thing to start a YouTube channel on. I thought I was recording. This is the stock low reverse sprag. This is a spare transmission I picked up for $100 to get the center support at. That's what this is called, center support. So you can see I got the new one. You see the gold in there? There's a snap ring right here that runs just inside of the center support, and you can pop the sprag at. It only goes in one way. So the sprag has been changed in the center support, and now I'm ready to put the whole modified 4L60E back together, and I can buy a couple parts and have this transmission put back together too. So instead of waiting for parts, I just robbed Peter to pay Paul, and we're going to get the modified 4L60 back together, put back in the truck. Got the tail shaft back in it. That sits in there. That little round notch sits in there. That is your anti-clunk spring. Then we can go with the rear planet. I got the bearing already in there. Slide that in. So when you're stacking your clutches and steels, they have a cut right there. Make sure that goes down, and it'll line everything else up. And also, there's the smooth side right here, and all the other sides have teeth. The smooth side is going to go to where the park and brake and the shifter assembly goes, with your notch pointing straight down. So here is your center plate with your low reverse sprag. This is what I screwed up. I changed out to a new Borg Warner. I got this piece, I robbed it out of another transmission, and I took the stock sprag out and put this upgraded Borg Warner sprag in. It's supposed to freewheel clockwise, lock up counterclockwise, and the back clutch holds against this. So there's a one wider spark than the rest, and you can look inside this transmission, and there's a one wider. It's going to be about right here, and this will fall down on top of this, and that one wide groove falls in right here with the wide notch in the case. Best advice I could give about popping a snap ring in is just make sure your ends don't fall halfway in between two of the teeth in the case. We have this plastic washer that goes in with the teeth down. It'll find a home and press in and stay there. There you go. You can drop the sun gear in. Yep, spin free, lock. Good sprag. Grab my assembly goo, put a good wipe of it. Just that waxiness will hold this bearing in place, so when you hold it upside down, it'll stay. Come on, Sonax piece. There it is. Dropped in place. I'm going to put some assembly on all of this. Right. Got some on the bushings on the inside. Drop it on in. There we go. Yeah, look at that gear reduction. Yeah, and this stays perfectly still till the other one clamps, and then it gives you another gear when it grabs these inside teeth and makes it do something way faster. Then my Achilles heel of the whole thing is this one freaking snap ring. Put that in there to keep the, just popped off the pliers. Put that in there to keep the tail shaft from falling out of everything else. So one more thing I'm going to do is put these back in. The revised ATSG manual says to put these return springs in. So I got the snap ring pulled off and the plate pulled off, and I'm going to drop these in place. And that way I'll be able to put them back in there, and it will have some return on these clutches. And you can see just from that little startup All the faces of these teeth are shiny. They're not broken or anything, but they already started the same thing that I had just fixed. So this will hopefully stop that, and we'll go ahead and put the cover plate back on. So I'm looking for the ring, and it looks like this side was the side where those clutch pieces were touching. So we'll go ahead and reinstall it. It's the same. There's no dot. There's nowhere that says this is up and this is down. It's not really marked. And it's the same surface on both sides. So go ahead and install it like this, and it's going to cap off the spring deals. Yeah. Very minimal space in between. Perfect. Now we can go ahead and put the snap ring back in. And like that, you got some clutch spacing. So line these up straight as you can. Usually works better with a pick. It's pretty good. And then all this other stuff is in correctly, I am sure. And let's go ahead and reassemble this with the Sonax piece. This has to fit with the flat side down, because when it sits inside of here, it gives it a lip to snap onto and spin. If it was the other way, that cage would dig into the bottom of here. So set side down. I'll pick that guy up and wipe him off. And here's your reverse. Reverse is good. Put them in, walk it in place until they all find home. That was it. And I can see it's making the bearing spin when I rotate it. Yeah, it just takes some jiggling, but it'll go in. And that Sonax deal is super tight. Normally you put the band in first. But being the Sonax piece is so tight, I'm also checking to see if that sun gears line up with that sun shell, because they interlock, and it is. That was it. That last click, sun shell to sun gear. Yeah, we're below this deck, looking down in there. That square tooth, I can show you on this. It goes into transmission. This has to sit in here like that. Band, new band, 0 miles. But the band is in and it's on the anchor pin, and I'm going to steal this little plastic deal because it goes on the back of the pump. The pump is next. I have all my bolts in, so I put some of that goo, assembly goo, where this little plastic spacer goes. All right, so with this wax in the right spot, you got all these holes here. You just line up all the holes with all the holes. And you got a 50-50 chance of lining it up correctly. Either going to be backwards or forwards. So this goes in there like that. Everything is lined up and looks beautiful. All the holes are sitting in the gasket right. Make sure the bushings have a lot of lube. And these Teflons have a lot of lube. We'll lower this pump into place. Bolt holes just kind of line themselves up. We're in. You go ahead and run these down and torque them. They're all started. All right, dude. 15 foot-pounds in a star pattern. And there's 7, so doing the skip one, you'll eventually get on a even pattern. Yeah. Go wipe it, torque. Last but not least, a brand new pressure switch. Even though this one's good, I'm going to send it with a brand new one. Torlon ball bearings, which are very, very hard plastic. They move faster than the steel, and they won't wear out the separator plate. And a new set of gaskets, because we're probably going to tear up these gaskets, getting the valve body back off. Let's do it. And your shifter. Take it up. Here's all the check balls. Don't try to grab them with your fingers. Your little magnet. Make it easy on yourself. And then there's going to be one under this. We're not going to worry about that. We'll leave that one steel. I know I don't have any metal in any of this. Everything looks good. Let's just go back and put the plastic check balls in it and send it. So under the separator plate, you have these 3 check balls, which we're not going to change. I don't want to pull that gasket off and tear it. And we have the 7 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All in their correct location. We're going to put the valve body back on and retorque it. Everything on the whole valve body has been torqued to 8 foot-pounds, except for this one bolt that holds the spring in. That's 18 foot-pounds. Always remember to put the stupid shifter linkage back on before you put everything back on, because you will ruin your valve body gasket. Ask me how I know.
Every time.
So now we can go ahead and hook up the wiring harness again. And make sure you clip them. Woo! We are ready for a pan, gasket, and a pan. That's what I'm talking about. Good to go. Put the pan on, son.
Hell yeah, Bubba.
Both of y'all say that shit?
Yeah, hell yeah, Bubba.
Part we've been looking for the whole time. The last part. That's the guy. Yeah. So these original bolts, they go at 37 foot-pounds. So I'm going to cut that in half and go about 20 first go around, and then go back to 37 because I'm scared to death of these little soft-headed bolts. All right, that was 20. Now we're going to 37. All right, giant mess in 3, 2, 1. Oh, nope. Can't forget that little guy. Put you some of this on. Now we can make the mess. It's in and bottomed out. We're ready to put it in the truck. All right, y'all, we got the transmission finished up last night. We're about to throw it in the truck.
Try to beat our last record. I think it was around 8 minutes. See if we can beat that.
If you want to see how to put a transmission in, check out my last video.
It's awesome.
Let's throw this thing in here.
Do it.
So
You put this on, make sure you do not put your big wire starter power.
and now it's time for James May's quiet asinine exhaust system. New gallon of Dex Merc 3. He got me in here with no seats. It's a moment of truth. Quiet and asinine. I'm gonna put it in drive. Let's see if it goes into second. See, do we got reverse? We have reverse. All right, drive. Let's see what happens. Will it shift in a second? Second. That was 80. We fixed it, dude. Our accommodations are comfortable.
Very.
Hopefully we don't die.
We won't.
Looking at an 18-wheeler.
You are.
All right, let's go see if shifts in a second and third. We can't go too far or too fast because I don't have any electric fans on it or any fan on it. Let's go see if we fixed her.
Shit.
Yeah, hold on, son.
I'll just lean against the back here. I'm fine. Oh.
Feels good. It's still got the 4/8 tune in it.
Charcoal POV.
Yeah, you're not. This is why they bolt seats down.
Yeah.
Oh, that was second gear, strong. Oh, the brakes are medium good. Close ratio first, second, third. That power steering pump is not happy.
That was the power steering pump.
Yeah. Oh shit. I'm not bolted in.
It's screaming.
Yeah, it probably went through all the fluid and put it in already. There's a tree.
Big pothole.
These shocks are good. The shock ride's good.
That's a deep ass pothole we went through too.
Louisiana, baby. Nothing but the finest. This thing shifts first, second, third, no problem. We can't go fast enough to get in the overdrive, but it downshifts nice too.
Good.
All right, hold on. Oh, this thing gets up. Can't stop.
Shite. Hey, we can try reverse.
Reverse. Oh, reverse. Oh.
Hey, that looks familiar. What's house
Dude,
we pull out
that
to?
5.3 gets down in a regular cab,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
The modified 4L60E, I believe, is a success. We're going to call this a win.
Shifts really nicely. You saw whenever we were going down the side street.
Yeah, we couldn't really give it the beans or anything
Mm-mm.
because the seats were just sitting in there. But we're going to throw some interior in it, get some suspension,
Tidy it up.
do some exhaust.
Make it look
We
awesome.
got a long list of stuff to do, but this little regular cab short bed,
RCSB.
yeah, we're going to get on this one, y'all. This is going to be fun.
Thank y'all for watching Modified. Catch y'all next week.